Painkiller Nearly, episode 215. Kyle has Kanye talk?
I guess yes. I do. I'm not sure if I'm 100% prepared, but yeah, he was on SNL the other night. You know, he did 3 songs, and the edited version of that new song that he's got, where he's in the
one where he's dressed in the box thing.
Yeah. The edited version of that is so awful that it's incomprehensible from the original. It's like I'm trying to think what the original lyrics are. He's like, it's like, I'm down with that hoe shit, that dirty fucking. By the time they edit it, like half the words have changed to like girl and stuff, and you're just like, well, this has lost all impact. But anyway, like he's wearing
all those like edited rap songs sound like the outgoing, messages from U571. They're like, water coming in, get more. Like, there's no consistency.
Anyway, he's wearing his MAGA hat, right? He's got his red "Make America Great Again" hat on, and he comes out and he starts sort of riffing. Like he'll sing a lyric. He's like, "Oh, I love blah 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 blue." They bullied me backstage. They bullied me. They bullied me. They told me not to come out wearing this hat.
He's doing really well. Kyle always does well with quotes like that. They bullied me backstage. Don't go out there with that hat on. They bullied me and they said I'm in a sunken place. I think the universe has balance. 90% of news are liberal. 90% of TV, LA, New York. Writers, rappers, musicians are so easy to make it seem like so one-sided. The blacks always want Democrats, It's the plan. They did. To take the fathers out of the home and promote welfare. Does anyone know what that's about? That's a Democratic plan. I want to cry right now. Black men in America, supposed to keep what you're feeling inside right now. There's so many times when I talk, it's hard to read. There's so many times when I talk to like a white person about this and they say, how come you like Trump? He's racist. Well, if I was concerned about racism, I would have moved out of America a long time ago. You don't have to agree with Trump, but the mob can't make me not love him. We're both dragon energy. He is my brother. I love everyone. I don't agree with everyone. I don't agree with everything anyone does. That's what makes us individuals, and we have the right to independent thought. There it is. I got that. I've been looking for the.
You really pulled it together there at the end.
He stole dragon energy from Charlie Sheen's Tiger Blood.
Those are not the same thing.
I think that he repackaged a cool animal with something. Where he's like, man, he did Tiger Blood, dragon energy. Yeah, dragon energy. Where it's like, can't you see that? Like, Kyle, you seem to be on the same page with that. It seems like a repack. I don't know what the fuck's up with that dude. I just know he's funny on Twitter because his thoughts are so disjointed a lot of the time. Like, he'll be like, I'm leaving the plantation. Don't try and stop me. Or like, he tweeted a picture of a bunch of crickets that he's going to eat. Like, expand your mind, won't be held down. And it's like, with someone like Kanye, I'm fine with that MAGA hat, but if you put that dried cricket in your mouth, I'm done. And he's like, hell no, man, you're not going to bully me. They told me not to eat crickets on stage. I'm going to do it anyway. It's a protein in the future. Like, this is
my thing with Kanye, I'm afraid I'm blowing out. My audio seems okay. Kanye. Oh, my favorite of all time was when they gave him water on a plane. Do you remember that?
I don't really know.
He's flying, I presume, first class. I don't know it for a fact, but it's Kanye. And they give him a bottled water. And he's tweeting out, like, complaining to the world, like, oh, great. Now I'm responsible for this water bottle. Thanks a lot. That was back when first world problems was like a trending thing, and the world went nuts with it. And it was like, but part of me though kind of sees it. Do you not see it? I didn't ask for a water bottle, and now like I'm either responsible for it or a litterer. Those are the choices you've given me.
Yeah. I hate that when they give you snacks that you don't want on the airplane, but then they're already all the way back there and they're not going to come back. I probably only eat the snacks on an airplane 10% of the time anyway because they're fucking shit. They're not good.
I wave the snacks off if I don't want them, which is like 95% of the time.
Have you had it though, where like you have headphones in and you're on the window and the guy like they just hand 3 to the person at the aisle and like hand them over to you? Well, I fly Delta Coach, and so I get third-hand snacks for me. And so I, somewhere out there's a ton of Delta planes with like one peanut thing tucked away in every pocket.
I envy Kyle's flight situation. So Kyle flies out of Atlanta. Atlanta is one of the nation's busiest airports. So they're all
It is
go
the
there.
busiest.
So it's the world's busiest, I think, right?
It is the world's busiest.
Okay. So Kyle has a ton of choices, right? He can say things like, I prefer Virgin. I, on the other hand, say things like, I like United because it goes to Raleigh.
I can't do Virgin because they're mostly international and they're based on the West Coast. So I've only been able to do Virgin when I'm flying like from Seattle down to L.A. But so I always fly Delta. I've got a shitload of Delta Sky miles. I always fly Delta.
Don't they wear
There's
out?
nothing wrong with
like,
Delta.
I was on the edge of whatever the bottom one is, diamond or platinum, like the bottom one that matters, and then they all expire after a year. I don't fly enough to
The
maintain it.
miles don't, but like the medallions do, because I've like risen to like you said, like on the cusp of platinum or on the cusp of diamond or
But
some
you can
shit.
go double mer. Yeah.
And but the miles stay. I've got I think like 320,000 or something like that. I think that's enough to like go to Japan and back or something like that first class.
It's a fucking disaster to fly out of St. Louis at all because the city owns the airport. Like the city of St. Louis owns the airport, even though it's not technically in the city.
Okay.
And they have run it into the ground. So St. Louis used to be the main hub for Southwest in the 90s up until the early 2000s.
Fine
and
airline.
I love Southwest.
Do you mean to
Like, it
suggest
works
that
great.
the leaders of St. Louis don't run a good airport?
I don't think they've done a good job with the entire city.
We're here for bold stances.
Yeah, we're here for very bold
That's
stances.
the murder capital of the world. No one does it better, Taylor.
No, Honduras. Look at there's got to be a neighborhood or two in South America. But yeah, it used to be like so easy to get flights. It was a safer area. It's like it's in Berkeley, which is right next to Ferguson, but Ferguson's not that big a deal. People blew that out of proportion.
Just got famous.
It just happened to be a famous little
All
suburb
hype.
area. And what they did is they're like, oh, all of our business is leaving the city because we raise taxes here in the city. Like a lot of our business people are leaving to the county. Okay, we'll mitigate that loss with landing fees. So people may not know, every airport has a landing fee for how much it costs that respective airline, what they have to pay to land there, basically.
The big ones.
And yeah, the big ones. And St. Louis has the most expensive landing rates in the country. To land in St. Louis. Because they ratcheted it up. Yeah, and that's why then Southwest is like, fuck you. Like, no. Hey, you know what's the name of that other city? Oh, Chicago? Yeah, we're heading there. Or any other Midwest city, like we're going to go there. Like, they fucking ruined it. And now that airport, I feel like I'm in the terminal level of Modern Warfare 2 every time I walk through. Like, that's the level of shit and almost as many bodies.
No Russians.
You can hear people in the fucking Delta terminal, no Russian. Trying to that kind of stuff is so frustrating.
RDU is okay, except there's a lot of walking. I feel like short-term parking to the airport, etc. The last time I had paragliding gear to carry, so I'm using my suitcase like a hand truck, and it's just falling off, and it's like a I don't want to exaggerate.
They have boys to help you with that sort of thing. You just say, boy! And they get real mad when you do that.
I had a...
if you snap at them. People I found don't like to be snapped at.
I had a cart for some of it, and that helped a lot. But just to put the gear on the suitcase and use it as a hand truck, it was a tough experience and really far.
Next time, put a fake soft cast on your leg. Get that golf cart guy to come help you out.
Ooh.
Right?
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last time
That's
I
a
went
really good idea.
home, and in Reno, I used crutches the whole time. It was like my first day on... It wasn't my first day, but it was my first day moving on crutches. The other days I just laid in bed. And my arms, I had like big blisters and bruises on my the heels of my palms and stuff.
Fuck.
And I was exhausted from just... in Reno, yeah, I just went forever on those damn crutches. Afterwards, I figured out to get the golf cart.
Yeah, I've pretty much mastered Atlanta Airport at this point. I know my way around really well, and the train system and everything. The plane train is departing.
Can we talk about the Connor fight a little? I know it's not.
We
Taylor's
haven't
favorite.
touched on it a bit. Let's get into
I
it.
know. I'm so excited though. I think they're both gonna. Khabib, for people who don't follow UFC very closely, is
Or have never listened to our show.
is known as a pullout merchant. I don't know if we've covered that before, but he's pulled out of a lot of fights. He missed weight, stuff like that. But I have my fingers crossed that it's going to happen. I try not to get so excited a week before the fight because they're still like 50-50 if it's a high stakes fight. If it's a hungry bottom level fighter, they'll drag their broken ass into the octagon in one way or another. But when they're elite guys and they have a lot to lose by losing, then they only fight if they're good oftentimes. And Khabib is just not fought. But man, I think this weekend it's going to happen.
I hope so.
I'm hearing this.
I'm ready to fucking go. I'm very excited.
Mm-hmm.
It's huge. It's the biggest UFC fight ever, in my opinion, and in a lot of people's opinion. Just super excited. Super excited. Can't wait to see it. Really hope Conor wins. Hope he shocks the world. That crowd's gonna go in fucking sane. I can't express how excited I am for this sporting event, like I have been for no other sporting event ever, I don't think.
As an outside viewer in the UFC world, it's funny that the MLB, NHL, NFL, NBA, every new Super Bowl or Stanley Cup, they're not forget all the other Stanley Cups and Super Bowls. This is the future of Stanley Cups and Super Bowls. Whereas UFC fans are yeah, I know you can go through my Reddit comment history and see that I said this about the last 30 events, but this is the one. This is and it's
but no, it's
which you have to give credit for.
It's
to
different.
The hype.
The
and
UFC,
marketing.
the MLB is 125 years old. They were playing baseball in the 1800s. Now, granted, people have been beating the shit out of each other since time immemorial. But the UFC is only 25 years old or something like that. And it is on the rise big time. And Conor McGregor has been the driving factor behind that. I don't know the exact statistics, but if you look at the top 7 pay-per-view events of all time, that's a nice round number, 7. He's 5 of them or something like that.
I know that he's 4 out of the top 5.
Yeah.
And he'll likely stay 4 out of the top 5, but
he'll likely become 5 out of 5.
No, because the one he doesn't own is 4th. So even if he beats it, he'll be 4 out of the top 4, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
When the numbers don't do what you like, just change the stats.
Yeah. Currently he's 1, 2, 3, 5.
So it's not hyperbole to say that this is the biggest UFC fight that there's ever been, because there's never been a superstar like McGregor before. Rousey wasn't as big. And he's come back after 2 years, and he's fighting this dreaded opponent, and it's massive. It's going to be very big. I don't know about the pay-per-view numbers breaking 2 million, which is what Dana has said it's trending toward, but it's definitely going to be another one of those record-breaking pay-per-view events.
I'm anxious to say a couple of things. One, I don't think it'll break 2 million. I think you saw the same Brendan Schwab, Joe Rogan podcast snippet that I had. But Brendan Schwab was saying the same thing that I said last show, which is his world just isn't filled with news, people aren't talking about it who are super casual, only into once in a blue moon of pay-per-view. I don't get much advertisement, but I don't think it's going to break 2 million. I assume it'll break 1 million, but I'm not guaranteeing that. Most people are.
You've got your Kyle guarantee here.
Here's the other thing. Brendan Schwab said this, and it burned into my head as a neat thing to watch. There's going to be a lot of Russian fans there. That apparently is a thing that is known. There's going to be a lot of Irish fans there. Everyone knows that. Brendan Schwab is I don't want to go to this event. I think there could be a real problem in the stands. There will be fights and rumbles all over the place. And Kyle, let me ask you, do Irish fans seem like the sort that might get drunk and throw a punch?
Or a bottle, or maybe a dolly.
All right.
The important thing is that the
question
Russians
I have a follow-up question on this. Do the Russian fans seem like the sort that would get hit with a bottle and apologize and de-escalate?
No, that is not in their makeup that I know.
And you know what? For the past few decades, if there's about an equal number of Russians and Irish people there, Irish people, I know you're pretty tough. You like to throw down, but
the fighting Irish.
I don't know if you've felt knuckles as hard as those Eastern European. Watch some clips online of what these Russians get up to, where they just beat the shit out of each other in the snow. My money would be on the Russian group, I think.
You know
if
what
that was
Khabib
pushing him to
should
shove.
come out of? If Khabib was a showman, he'd come out wearing a bear skin with the head like on his head. Like that'd be part of his outfit.
That'd be pretty sick.
Taylor, on this topic, while we're still there, let's say the audience was comprised straight up Russian Irishmen. What percentage would it take to make it a fair fight? 60-40, mostly Irish? Is that fair? 65-35?
Yeah, totally. I think we're giving the Russians too much credit here.
I
I
would
see a
say
lot of pot bellies on these fellows.
50-50 or 55-45 with the Irish having a few more. Because, you know, those Russians, they've got a feeling of collectivism still that permeates their nation. You know, whereas who knows if the Irish still feel that way. You know, the Russians might be engaged in, you know, like 5 people at a time beating people up, while the Irish might be so drunk they might just be doing a bunch of one-on-one fights.
My mental image of an Irishman is a skinny, fat, pale person. And my mental image of a Russian dude is a strong, fat person.
I've been watching the clips on the Mac Life, you know, that like Connor's like private little like filming thing. They film the team though, not so much Connor. Like Connor's rarely in them. He like if it's an 8-minute
and I'm getting ripped off on these videos.
No, I prefer it this way. I want the team. It's the Mac Life.
Okay.
And so like if it's a 10-minute video, 30 seconds of it is Connor. You see him getting off the private jet. He's got his boy in his arms. He's got the girlfriend. He's like, yes, it's a life. And then, all right, now we're going to show you like the team and where they live and the food they cook and all that stuff. Those guys are all jacked. Like Connor doesn't have a chunky guy on the team. Every one of them has like vascular arms and shirts that don't fit. I'd like to see one of those.
He's got some chunky guys in his fan base, though.
Oh, for sure. Well, who doesn't?
Yeah, we're not talking about their respective posses.
I know, but I've moved on to a whole new thing where I want to see Connor and his team fight Khabib and his team in one of those group MMA events where 5 guys come rushing each other across the ring.
How many people are in a team, just to give me like a feeling?
Well, they make up a number, right?
Like 12 or something?
Well, in Connor's team, it appears to be like 6 guys. And
okay.
in
Khabib's team will obviously win that because he has 4 world champions on it.
Well, those people don't count. Cormier's not on his team.
Yes, he is. I bet
I'm using the word team differently then. I'm talking about his core group of like fucking Slavic, bearded, Islamic Russian motherfuckers that like roll around with him in his team. The guys who are like working for him. Cormier trains with him at like the camp or whatever. Like
primary training partners include people like Luke Rockhold, Daniel Cormier, and I threw in.
Yeah, I'm not talking about any of those guys. Not those guys. I'm talking about the Russian guys that he has with that Ali guy and all those guys that are always with him and that are with him right now. Like Cormier's not with him right now, living in the house with him in Vegas. You know,
if he's got 4 world champions on his team and Connor doesn't, it seems like it's kind of unfair.
It's not the same team. It's being misconstrued.
They're the AKA team. They're a team.
I'm talking about the crew.
You're
the crew
about
then.
The posse.
Yes, I'm talking about the crew that he brings with him to places. Like the people that were with Khabib when he slapped Artem Lobov in that hotel. That group of people, the Russian hanger-ons, the cut man or whatever, and the dietitian.
Hanger-ons, that's what we should call
the dietitian. Yeah.
He has a dietitian. He absolutely does.
Okay, well, let's say that his posse's 10 guys, just for ease of numbers.
Okay.
Who wins that posse, versus the entire Philadelphia Flyers?
Ooh, that is a good question.
Skates or no skates?
How many people?
They have to be in skates, but they're not on the ice. They have to be in full regalia, but they don't get sticks, and they're in there. So it's going to be very difficult for them to be moving around.
They're all 6'6" now.
Yeah.
Shit.
Oh shit!
How many people are on a hockey team? 30?
Like 20, 22, 23 on a roster.
I had 22 in my head.
Yeah, 22 or
so
23.
22 plus the healthy scratches.
Yeah.
So 22 versus 10, but pro fighters versus pro hockey players.
You got to get quick finishes, though, because these hockey players are tough. They're going to be grabbing on and hanging on to these guys. You got to be getting KOs. You can't be going for submissions.
You've seen
and a lot of them
fights.
Are Russian, too.
But
and so they won't be able to be like, like giving strategy to one another. The Flyers guy will be like, he's stealing. Go for the little guy first. Yeah, good try.
A long hockey fight is 30
this
seconds.
The fucking NBA.
And for that reason, I'm going with the pro fighters.
Yeah, that would be more of a fun exhibition match.
It would be. I had another thing.
More exhibition matches in sports. That's what this that's what this country needs at this time. More
Braves
exhibition matches in sports. Oh yeah, Braves won their whole division.
Yeah, won the whole division. They for the first time they had two. What is it? 100. I'm trying to think in baseball if it's 100 and it doesn't matter. They had two tiebreaker games to decide who would make it into the postseason. In baseball, if your records are tied, you play the other team one game. Winner wins, and they go on to the postseason. Loser doesn't go on, and they had two of those.
Aside, love that about baseball. It should be incorporated into more sports.
It's awesome. It's awesome. So yeah, Braves are heading into the postseason. I didn't see who won the tiebreaker, but it didn't matter because I believe our record against both teams was equally bad at like 5 losses and 2 wins. So good luck, Braves.
Maybe they'll rise to the occasion.
Are you
All the
actually
Atlanta
gonna
teams
watch
are-
and tune in? Do you think for a couple?
No, fuck no, not unless they go to the series. I don't give a shit about postseason baseball until you get deep into October and it's the series. All I care is the World Series.
There's just 2 rounds in baseball playoffs, right?
Yeah.
You make the World's first you win a round and then you get to the World Series.
Wait, you win a round and then you win the pennant of the National League or American League, and then you go to the World Series, right?
Yeah.
So there's 3 rounds total. Okay.
That's what, like, looking back on Angels in the outfield, it was like, man, you should have asked for more than a pennant. Like, you should have asked for the whole World Series. It's like, what a sad fan base to just
Why
be like,
did you
I
ask
just
to go
want
back to
to
back
kind of
or
want to
something?
win the division. You know, like,
If we could beat the Dodgers, we'd be so happy.
God, if
Yeah.
we could just have a dynasty, that would be nice.
God sitting up there like, I was willing to do much more, my son, but one pennant. You know, the guy from Chicago asked for the Blackhawks to have a dynasty in the early 2010s, and I gave him that. And they're all asshole cunts in Chicago. Like,
I know we finished on the thing, but do you remember whatever it was 4 years ago? The American Wrestler was Connor's kryptonite, right? He was blasting through everyone, and they were like, "Oh, they handpicked all these strikers for him." People who, in hindsight, look pretty good, like Max Holloway and of course, Jose Aldo. Poirier is another great example. But they were like, "Can he deal with the American Wrestler?" So he goes up against Chad Mendes. Really gets roughed up. Like, Connor won that fight, unquestionably. He knocked the other guy out. But I bet if you divided who looked better by minutes in the fight, by seconds of the fight, it was a more even than people remember it. So that was just Chad Mendes. This is Khabib. I'm excited about our $5 bet. That's all. I'll stop. I know people have had enough Khabib talk. I'm just very excited. Don't make me talk about paramotors.
I'm with you. I'm very excited, very pumped for the thing. I can't wait to see how it turns out. We're saying that it could go one of 2 ways. It's either Conor KOs him standing up, or Khabib takes him down and pounds him out for 5 rounds and wins a decision. Those are the 2 most likely outcomes in my opinion. But there are other ways it could go. Conor could kick this guy. Conor could knee this guy. Khabib could maybe choke Conor out. It could go any way. The only thing I don't see happening, and I'd love to see the betting odds on this, is Khabib first round KOing Conor. I bet the odds on that are as long as you can imagine. It's got to be like 10,000 to 1 or something like that. That's not happening.
I can't wait. So the casual analysis is Khabib is going to grind him out or McGregor's going to knock him out. But as I listen to more experts, they're like, these are both complete fighters. Conor is no chump on the ground, and Khabib is no chump on his feet. It's going to be a fight. So
yeah, I would love it if Khabib
Very
tried
cool.
to stand up and box with Conor, especially after 2 years of like Conor sharpening his boxing skills. That'd be great. I would like nothing better than like a 3 or 4 round contest of Conor just like round after round, a more battered Khabib drags himself out there and just it's that it's finished, but Conor just
you don't even want it to be close. You
No,
want
I
it
want
to be a
I
savage.
never want. Of course, I dislike Khabib. I dislike him, and so I want him to be punished and
Because
bleed.
he's Muslim.
That's the number one reason. Absolutely. No. I don't like his arrogance. I don't like. I don't think he's ever been humbled. He's never lost. I think his record is mostly fake. All that stuff. I want him to be exposed. I want everyone to be like, wow, I want it to be like when Ronda got KO'd and everybody was like, well, we were completely wrong. But wait, aren't you the MMA expert? Yeah. Yes, I am. But
I wasn't at the time, but I've learned more now.
Kyle's right.
Like, she's not that good.
If you look at Khabib's body of work, like his best wins, he cannot stack his good wins against Conor's. Then again, Conor has 3 losses and Khabib have 0, so that's a thing too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, very exciting. Hope it happens Saturday. I hope it happens.
And again, I'd be okay if Khabib fucking doesn't show up, like misses weight, gets hurt, or whatever bullshit he comes with. Conor goes in there and wipes the floor with fucking Tony Ferguson. That would please me just as much, especially if they took Khabib's belt away and gave it to Conor. Like, because then Conor can like dangle it over his head for another like year and a half or something while he goes and boxes or something, and Khabib can just be sad. I would love that. I'd be fine with that.
What would your reaction be if Conor gets embarrassed?
I would be sad. It would ruin the night. It would definitely ruin the night. It's I would feel real down. It would really bug me. I would feel worse about that than when I did when Atlanta lost the Super Bowl after being up by like 2.5, 3 touchdowns or whatever it was. Yeah. I'm a much bigger Conor fan than I am anything. Fair
enough.
Yeah, for sure. Like
he
the
prefers
Falcons,
sports that take 2 balls.
yes, not 75 or whatever a football team equals.
I was going. They just use 1 ball.
I like how you pick an odd number of balls, Kyle.
I mean, amongst that large of a team, someone's had an accident somewhere along the way, I'm sure. Or maybe there's a mutant out there.
Well, the kicker opted to have it removed. Makes his legs swing more pendulously.
Sure. I mean, Atlanta
It's a
sports
PED.
and UGA is like number 2 in the country right now, and the Falcons aren't doing great, but obviously the Braves are making it to the postseason, and there's some good stuff going on in my little sports world. But Conor McGregor is definitely my favorite athlete, sports figure, whatever. Really enjoy everything that he does. This is a guy who goes out and commits fucking crimes to entertain us, which is how I'm going to choose. That's the lens I'm going to choose to view his antics in New York. Like you can't beat that. Yeah. Nobody else does that shit. Nobody else goes out and assaults people.
Maybe not in the UFC, but I would argue that most of Twitch and YouTube IRL is built on going in public and committing crimes for attention. Right?
Well, we do enjoy a little Ice Poseidon every now and then, like from time to time. Like,
you haven't mentioned him for a hot second. Anything new that he's up to, or do you not have any
We watched him on the
idea?
show last week.
Yeah, we watched him have.
The
He
guy's
had that little
teeth got
fight.
knocked out.
Yeah, I've kind of fell out of love, I guess. I just haven't been watching it as much. And it's not like I would tune in and watch a full like 4 or 5 hour stream. I would usually be directed to it by a friend or something like that. And it just seems like maybe they haven't been watching as much, or maybe there isn't as much to watch, and so it doesn't get sent to me as much. It used to be that like almost every night someone would link it and like all caps, tune in now, and you would click it and there would be something insane going on, and that just hasn't happened in a while.
You know how I keep up with it? For whatever reason, the URL auto-populates on my browser to the Ice Poseidon subreddit, and I just go and, take the temperature of what's going on there.
Mine's MMA. Mine, like that's, it's got your top 6 visited sites or whatever, and like that's like if I want Reddit, like I start at RMMA, not. You would think for the way I talk, it would be like our girls finishing the job, or our like big titty goth girl gone wild or something like that. But instead,
Very specific.
It's all they're actual subreddits.
No, it's not.
One that I like a lot is Going the Extra Mile, I think it is. And what it is, it's scenes from movies, actual films, not pornography, where actual sex is going on. Actual penetration. It's called The Extra Mile, I think.
You've mentioned this.
Or sometimes I'm not Halle Berry in Monster Ball.
Monsters Ball, yeah.
Monsters Ball. Confirmed sex? Because it always looked like, there's
a
I'm
little
with you.
ball tugging going on, like when she's riding Billy Bob Thornton, and you see a scrotum sort of like pull forward, and look, I think they used to date in the past, and the rumor is, they're fucking, but I think that's on that subreddit, but that's not grade A material for that subreddit. There are cum shots, like there's a movie on
Brown Bunny.
I watched this movie on Netflix the other day called Love. I think it's just called Love. Okay. You'll know it because like the image is like that Spider-Man kiss where you're both like upside down or whatever. It's like a Spider-Man tongue kiss going on between a man and a woman. And I watched this thing, and it begins. I'm talking about very first scene. As soon as like, and it's not one of those things that drags on with a bunch of credits. Like it's not like Lord of the Rings where you like have a panning shot over some snowy mountains and you hear Gandalf low at first, and I am a wielder of the flame of Anor and the keeper of the secret fire. Like it's not that. Like it's boom. She's in this weird position where she's like masturbating him and he's masturbating her, and it's just full hard cock and pussy. And there's penetration throughout the movie. It's pretty intense. It's kind of a sad story, actually. I was looking to come, but I ended up crying.
It's a sad story,
Nine
actually.
Songs. I hardly remember what even the plot to Nine Songs is, but I remember there is some grade A real sex, and it opens with real sex too, and it's on Netflix. Yeah,
and because I watched Love, it starts recommending me like all of the other dirty Netflix movies. So like, and I'm just like, all right, let's keep going then. And like, one of them is like 5 tortured tales of debauchery, including incest, bloodlust, and it like goes down the line. And I'm like, this is a little fucked up. So you're telling me this chick is getting all the it was like a royal some queen or something, like rounding up all the hot virgins from the village, and she's like making them all bathe and getting them all ready, and they're all naked, like no clothes for them, and she's wearing like this Victorian shit, and she's gorgeous, and they're all super hot and like 18 to 20 again age, and they're all, and there's just bush and pussy lips and titties,
and they use words like tawdry.
And I thought there was going to be an orgy scene. I was like, she's getting all the hot chicks and she's gonna bang them all. And then of course they all get in a bed together, and they do this thing where she wants them all to like tear her clothes off. And so they're all ripping her clothes off. And I'm like, yeah, now it's about to get good. And one of the chicks, like, she's got pearls like sewn into her clothes, and this chick's like shoving pearls in her cunt. And I'm just like, oh yeah, all right, we're getting dirty now. And then they murder all of the hot chicks and pour the queen a bath of virgin blood for her to bathe in.
I didn't see
Sounds
that
like
coming.
a pretty interesting film.
And I don't think it makes you any cleaner.
Until she's rubbing her titties with virgin blood in this bath full of virgin blood.
After I rub my titties with a bath of virgin blood, I feel like I need to take another bath.
That's what
this was recommended for you on Netflix?
Yes, after I watched Love.
And the way it was described, was what I was saying about the word tawdry, is it said this is tawdry behavior, and it's people like sucking cock and getting fucked. Like tawdry is like what you'd tell a second grader not to say butthead. Like, well, sir, that's a bit tawdry, isn't it? No need for that. It's not like, my goodness, son, get your cock out of your teacher's ass. Like, good gracious me.
I'm trying to find the movie. It doesn't matter. But it was like incest, bloodlust, and something else. One of them was
that kind of thing at all on Netflix, like real nudity in that.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
Like it's sex, not nudity.
Blue is the warmest color. That's a lesbian one where it's not nearly as dirty as I would have liked it to be. It seemed like there's a little bit of face sitting, little pussy lips here and there, but it wasn't as hardcore as I was.
9 Songs would meet your expectations. It's pretty much porn.
I'll add that to the list then.
Yeah. I want to say that. Yeah, you can see a cock go in a pussy.
All right, that's what I like.
Yeah.
See, if it's too.
There used to be simulated. They called it like softcore porn, I guess, right? And a lot of people, they hear softcore porn and they think like maybe just a girl posing, like Playboy would.
Oh.
But softcore porn also includes, if I'm correct, this whole like simulated sex genre.
Skinamax
is a good example. So I thought maybe 9 Songs was that because I view it through this lens of suspicion. And then you're like, oh, no.
It's in?
Yeah, that's, like, all right, I thought when maybe she licked that cunt that was as far as we were going, but there's just a winner here.
Yeah, good stuff. It's good
See,
stuff.
like I'm on the opposite side of you guys because I don't want sex this graphic in like plot-driven movies that I'm watching. Like, it takes you out of it. If you're like in the middle of a plot and then there's someone getting blown for 5 minutes, that for me, Woody, is what you don't like about like marching across the plains of Rohan in Lord of the Rings. Like, it's like I don't like, and I like the marching across the plains of Rohan because it's setting the stage, it's building suspense, it's making me excited. But like if Arwen just started.
The Isengard.
Yeah.
The hobbits, the hobbits, the remember that fucking remix? But like, if Arwen got down in the middle of Rivendell and sucked Aragorn's cock for 8 minutes before they got on their way and left, I'd be like, what am I watching anymore? Like, this isn't. This is no longer a movie about destroying a ring because I and everyone else watching is distracted by the fact that now there's cock sucking going on.
You're watching
How about
Game
you
of
just
Thrones
watch porn after
because
the
you really
movie
want
like
to
an
know who the
adult?
prince that was promised is. Is it Daenerys? Is it Jon Snow? Is it what? All right, unzip. You know?
See, I don't like that either, especially not in Game of Thrones because they are playing with house money, and we are the house. They're playing with our money and attention, and they're frittering away time on blowjobs and titties when they're not even going to finish with us. I'm getting in the state of mind with Game of Thrones now, where I'm like, I'm setting myself up for disappointment. Like I'm anticipating that it's not going to be very good, and I'm coming to terms with it because I don't think it's going to stand up one bit. I think it's going to be one of those things like Lost where people are fucking pissed afterwards.
I think it'll be in between, right? On the grand end of the spectrum, there are going to be 6 feature-length films that come out this summer. It's October, so this summer's, whatever, 10 months away. But this summer, we're going to have 6 feature-length films. I think they're going to be shortish for films. They're going to be an hour long, hour and 10 minutes maybe. And some of them are going to be meh. But taken as a whole, it will be a good final season. And it will answer the questions, which Lost didn't.
Yeah, they're going to have this figured out. I got to counter your argument about the real sex taking you out of the moment, though, Taylor. You know what takes me out of the moment is fake sex in positions that are impossible unless your penis is one of those crazy straws that children get at restaurants.
If it is a right angle, where they fuck up against a wall in a way where it's like, I fucked up against the wall, and that's not how you do it.
Yeah, no, you got to get low. You got to get low. There's going to be some leg bending or something going on.
Your quads burn at the end of that because you can't lock your knees out.
Yeah, and people will have sex in the shower, and like 10 minutes in, they don't go, let's finish this on the couch or in bed.
Get pruny!
Because that's what reality is.
Because water's not lube. Water's not lube. We all know this. All us non-virgins are aware, water's not lube.
Yeah.
You
can't
don't
even
like that.
stand there with a nice warm water on your back as you're getting blown, because then if you adjust the wrong way, she's getting blasted in the face with a bunch of water. Like, they're not things that you want.
Yeah, don't have sex in the shower.
So you're all pro. So you don't mind it in shows, Kyle. Like, you actually like the real sex in the show. You think it adds something.
I definitely think it adds something to the show, especially if it's meaningful to the plot. If the sex isn't just frivolous sex, if it's core to the story. Like in that love thing, the sex is kind of what ruins this guy's life. Like he has a 3-way with his wife and this neighbor, and the wife's all down with it. But then he's thinking in his head, he's like, I had to be inside of her again, and he hooks up with her just then, right? Condom breaks.
Ooh, we've all been there.
We need to see the condom on his cock broken, right? Like he pulls out, and the condom
just trust that.
And the condom he's like, it broke. And I'm like, God damn right it did. How did you not feel that? I've never broken a condom because my penis isn't the size of 4 2-liter sodas. But
dude, everybody's broken a condom.
Yeah, I've broken a condom as a teenager. And I don't pretend it's the size of 4 whatever. I probably put it on wrong because I was young.
Yeah, I don't know how it happens to people. I believe it happens because I've heard of it happening and it's a thing. But I've never once broken a condom.
I can add to, I was like 30%. I had a suspicion that the condom break. I was like, I think this is better. But I wasn't positive. And my dumbass, nearly virgin head was just making bad decisions at the time. And
see,
that can happen.
If anything, Kyle, that should pull you out of the movie. Is if he breaks a condom and then after the condom is broken, he finishes inside her, because any man, ladies, both of you out there, listen up. If you've ever heard a guy go, oh yeah, lady, if you've ever had a guy fuck you and then take it out and be like, oh, the condom broke. First of all, he's a liar because he knew right away. And second of all, you're a liar because you knew right away too. Because both parties know instantly when that condom breaks, because sex becomes infinitely better immediately. Like if you go more than 2 pumps, like after the condom's broken, you're teasing like yourself. You're like, is it really broken? Wow, maybe this is just truly is ultra thin. It's like, no, it's not.
It's not like the O-ring on the space shuttle anyway. We don't have to completely cancel the mission to check on this thing or anything. Just pull out and look.
I don't share your
comment.
So for me, I was very young, very young. I was 6. No, but I was young, and like I had sex maybe 25 times, 45 times, like, you know, like we're double digits here. And and Taylor, I didn't share your level. Taylor is confidently espousing that he knows that both people know. I suspected at best. And if I had to bet, I thought it was still intact, you know? And by the way, it was still intact, like at the base of my cock. It was
yeah, that's how it breaks, is it splits, and then it's just a ring around the base of your cock.
Yeah, so I was just kind of unsure what the scoop was, you know? And I didn't even think that she would know, but I guess that's the thing. Maybe she was suspicious. I'm not sure. And but yeah, if I had to bet in that moment, I think I would have bet that it wasn't broken.
Then I'm speaking from a place of having it happen before. Yeah, that's fair. I'm sure a lot of people wouldn't know.
But I was suspicious. And to Kyle's point, which was a good one, like, you know, we don't have to land the space shuttle to check on this thing. I was worried that it, like, if I broke the mood, she'd change her mind. Like my yes would turn into a no or something.
Yeah.
That thought was in my head. Now,
and then the sex would turn into a rape.
Right. Well, you know, like, I think it's different when you're both like 28.
Kavanaugh,
you know, you're 28 or in my case 45.
And I don't like condoms.
Like, this is all yes. When you're 17, then they're tentative yeses. I feel like there's a little more, you know, like she would have changed her mind or something. Like she would have had maybe changed her mind. I don't know.
I bet she would have been more like, just hurry up. Just put the other one on and keep going.
Probably, yeah. But anyway, that was the thought in my stupid head back in the day.
I watched this movie on Netflix last night. This is a Netflix original based on a novel. Let's watch this this trailer if we can.
Roger that.
If that player is inconvenient, I could find a YouTube link.
It'll be fine. Hold the Dark.
Oh, I've seen this trailer. Yeah, I watched this the other night.
You watched the movie or the trailer?
The whole movie, I think. At least most of it.
I watched the whole movie last night.
Did you? Or I guess we'll watch it first, and then we can talk about it.
Yeah.
3 days
there we
ago,
go.
my son Bailey was.
Oh, shucks. I'm sorry. This player is a little inconvenient, actually. The Netflix doesn't have like a start-stop like YouTube does.
Yeah, it just goes.
I paused mine.
Did you?
Dear Mr. Core.
Where's the pause? When I clicked
ago,
on
my
it.
son Bailey was taken by
I never use
wolves.
Netflix on my PC.
Is it Hold the Dark we're talking about?
No one
Yeah, I'll
in the
just
village will hunt them.
When I click on it to pause it, it like starts the show.
There you go. It reminded me of Wind River a little bit, probably just because of the Native American stuff and the frigid environment that they're in and everything. But I like the main actor. It's got the black guy from Westworld, and it's got that super tall Nordic white guy from True Blood.
That's the black guy from
Westworld.
And Boardwalk Empire, right? He plays like the classy kind of guy.
Yes.
Like the opposite of Whitey.
Yeah.
Chalky White.
Chalky White. Mr. White.
Woody, I'm ready.
The apostrophe I needed for I am is right next to the enter button. And I couldn't seem to not hit enter. I'm ready is what I was trying to say. We can watch this trailer. All right, 3, 2, 1, play.
Dear Mr. Core. 3 days ago, my son Bailey was taken by wolves. No one in the village will hunt them. My husband will come home from the war soon. I must have something to show him.
I like this guy.
So you come to kill it? To kill the one that took him?
I came to help if I can. To explain this if I can.
It's not the first time people died out there. There's hillside is scattered with pieces of bodies.
That's what you get when you talk to the villagers.
People are dying. Not real enough.
Leave us to the devils.
You're the one found my boy.
Yes.
Can you raise the dead?
No, sir.
Then I have no questions for it.
Never seen anything like this before. The behavioral term is savaging. No. I'm not talking about animals here, Mr. Core. Well, if you say so.
What's outside those windows? It gets in you. Find it. Kill it. Kill it. Kill it.
Yeah, pretty intense trailer, right?
Why? What about that trailer made you enthusiastic? Because I'm not sharing it.
It's a mystery. It's fucking ominous as shit. It's surreal. It's bizarre. I liked everything about that trailer. I enjoyed the movie. The movie was.
You saw it.
Yeah, I watched it last night.
Can I ask you this? Because here's what I'm expecting: a very, very, very slow burn. Where just like there's something about these wolves that we don't fully understand for the first 87 of these 90 minutes.
Shit really hits the fan like 45 minutes in. There is shit really hits the fan about 45 minutes in, and they established right away that the guy that played Eric, the big tall Nordic guy, is a bad motherfucker. You see him a little bit in Fallujah and a couple of his little exploits there, and
I think he might have been in Generation Kill as well.
He was, yeah, bad motherfucker.
Oh, that was a good show.
Yeah,
I like Generation Kill a lot.
Me too.
Yeah, it was. It's not fast paced. I'll say that. There's a lot of building up to like, you get some titties right away.
If I was making that film, I don't know who directed it, but let's get Michael Bay in here. Let's take our badass motherfucker and arm him with something that has exploding bullets and kill a bunch of wolves. That's how I would handle this film.
That is not what the movie is about. However, there is a total Michael Bay scene, like I said, about 45 minutes in, where there's a confrontation between some people, and many people die. Just lots of people die.
You're capturing my interest,
and it really takes you by surprise, and you're just like, oh, he meant business, and shit really goes nuts. It's sort of a mystery, and they slowly unravel this mystery as to what the fuck happened to the child and who these characters really are. It's different. I was scared for the first half hour when I wasn't sure what was going on, and those masks are creepy. That wolf mask that you saw the character wear.
Masks are always unsettling. Like even when they're silly looking.
It's because you can't see the human expression, the expression of their face. We don't know what's going on behind there. It's just a blank canvas, and our brain fills in like
that's why
dark,
animals
ominous
without
thoughts.
that's why animals without traditional eyes are psychologically so upsetting for us. Like
because
we can't
eye.
discern what they're thinking or their behavior or
Masks
anything like.
Don't work on me. Like they use them to the best extent they can in The Purge. And usually, like to Taylor's point, they're like silly masks. They dress up with like a rabbit with fuzzy bunny ears while they're holding a chainsaw, and there's blood splattered all over them. And I'm just like, the mask doesn't make them scarier.
Best mask is Texas Chainsaw Massacre, of course, Leatherface, because his mask is made of his victims. And I also thought that in The Strangers, when that unknown group of people is terrorizing the woman outside of her cabin.
Oh yeah.
Very scary. I think that might be Liv Tyler. Those are very scary masks. This mask in particular, there's something. It's sort of like animalistic and tribal, and you don't know.
Have you seen Hush? That movie, that horror movie about the deaf woman on Netflix. That guy's got a mask that It's pretty creepy. Well, you didn't like that movie? Neither of you?
I liked it.
I thought it was scary. Yeah, I didn't care for
yeah,
it.
yeah, she was deaf, and it. I liked that, but I liked more along the same lines. The one with John Krasinski. What's his last name?
Yeah, The
From
Quiet
Office?
Place. Krasinski.
Krasinski. Thank you. From from The Office. I like that movie. I had fun with it.
Oh yeah, that was a very good movie. That was a very good movie.
It was
Yeah.
hyped as better than I thought it was, but I still enjoyed it.
You know
I
what
liked him
ruined
and
it?
everything. He's just pretty likable.
You know what? It would have made it so much better is if that they show you the monster like 3 minutes into the movie. They shouldn't have done that. They shouldn't have shown you the monster immediately, because right away you kind of know basically what it is. It's an alien that came down on an asteroid, and it's got these weird appendages and this mouthful of teeth, and it mauls people. If they hadn't shown it like coming for the boy and then the boy getting whisked away, if they had just shown like a blur taking the boy and then his horrified face and the wife's horrified face, and then you spent the next 25-30 minutes like showing the preparations and speaking ASL and shit and like that, it would have been much scarier. I mean, Jaws was a great movie, and it did so well because the shark was fucking bullshit. They couldn't get it to work, you know.
Did you see I had it. I lost it. The scary movie.
Who's in it?
It'll come back. I had one I wanted to talk about.
That Quiet Place though, I like that a lot more than I thought I would. It's like but I couldn't agree more. I want to see the monster because I always want to see it. Like I want it to be revealed. But when that want is fulfilled so early into a movie, it's like, okay, well now I can quantify what it is that's scary about this, and it's kind of unrealistic and silly, and there's a bunch of sound-sensitive monsters running around.
I like it when they break that, because that to me is a bit of a formula when they just keep the monster a secret for
kind
an
of a trope,
hour.
yeah.
A trope is the word I was looking for. Whereas they changed the name on it. The Tom Cruise movie where he keeps repeating time. He plays the hero.
Oh, Day After Tomorrow.
Day After Tomorrow.
No, it's The Edge of Tomorrow. I'm sorry.
Okay. The Edge of Tomorrow, they showed you that monster early on, and it didn't ruin it at all for me. You know, I was happy to know what we were dealing with.
Well, that's an action movie. The monster's not key. It's not about being afraid of the monster. It's about him, doing his repetitive thing and becoming... That was a great premise. That's one of the best... That's an original premise, and you don't see that very often. And like Tom Cruise gives a great performance, and the chick Claire Danes, I think maybe is her name.
Also great.
Super fucking hot. Loved watching her like work out in the other room. They call her the Full Metal Bitch. She had that enormous sword. Like
not
it was
super
cool.
hot to me.
Oh, super fucking hot. Come on.
I thought she was cool, but I don't think she's pretty.
Oh,
Have either of you guys watched an episode of that show Maniac on Netflix yet?
I'm on. I was going to talk about that. I'm on the first episode, so it's just kind of hooking me a little bit, and I'm trying to get a grip on. I guess the universe has some rules, like there's other currencies, and he loses his job, but he's from a wealthy family, and I'm just getting my arms around it. One thing about Maniac, it requires your full attention. And I don't always give shows my full attention, so I can't watch Maniac casually like Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah, well, you have your computer open doing something else. Like, yeah, I totally feel you. Like, I thought of that of both of you guys when I watched that, though. I'm like, oh, this is unique. I think they'll like this. So, hopefully it will.
I've been in a comedy mood. I've been watching Curb Your Enthusiasm for the second time through. I love that show. That's one of my favorite shows of all time. It's Seinfeld, basically. It's Seinfeld writing because it's Larry David, and it's him getting it's like if George Costanza had his own show and went off and lived his own life by himself and just kept stepping in shit perpetually. It's pretty good. Love Curb.
Yeah, there's some funny Curbs. I've been also like in a comedy mood for a lot of things, and I'm I guess rewatching Lady Di's Internship from Opie and Anthony for the 10th time in my life, and every time it makes me laugh my ass off. Like, you know who Lady Di is, I'm sure.
Yeah, we talked about it the other day.
Yeah, like where she is an insane alcoholic who they have on her show, like starting in the late 90s, and you watch her like degeneration, where like there will be like clips from like 2004 where it's like Lady Diane, when are you getting a job? She's like, oh, I sent out an application just last week to Toys R Us or something, and then they'll like play that clip in 20 14 when they're like, "Die! You've been saying you've been looking for a job for 10 years. What are you doing?" Like he's like, I'm looking. What are you doing?" It's like, lady, Die. It's 8 a.m. How many natty ices are you deep today? She's like, 3. They're like, "Is Bill there? Can you confirm it?" And then her drunk like partner that she would blow to stay there would be like, "She's had at least 6. It's like, "Already lying this morning, Die. What about that?" It's hysterical. She comes in and tries to do an internship, and it quickly devolves when they realize it was not like a haha like alcoholism. It was like she's been sitting in here for like 90 minutes trying to do something with us, and she's like vomiting and shitting herself.
Yeah,
and
that's a problem.
It's very, very entertaining. It's a little bit of a downer if you don't know who she is and how she totally deserves it for just all the backstory with the way she treated her children and like that kind of shit's pretty fucked.
I mean,
but
it's clearly a damaged individual.
Yeah, no doubt. But that's a show I wish that there was a modern version of out there, Opie and Anthony. But like that kind of shit, just like Old Coward, just can't exist anymore because it would get taken off the air. That's why like Jim Norton has gone from like the most risque, say whatever the fuck you want, whenever the fuck you want to say it, hot take guy from 9 years ago, and now he's, I don't know, man, that's a tough one, like milquetoast middle ground guy who's like semi like kind of thoughtful. It's like
I heard him talking about a hooker pissing in his mouth last week.
In a milquetoast way. He was so on that.
Dude,
passing way.
That's the most milquetoast thing of Jim to say. He's been saying that same shit. It's like, Jim, nobody's interested in your sexual deviancy anymore. Go on to something else. Like, the reason you were so good on the show is because you're so fucking quick-witted, and you'd have people like Bobby Kelly, Colin Quinn, Louis C.K. in there, Anthony, shooting the shit with them. Like, and now he has Sam Roberts, that goat laugh, annoying as shit, dude.
That ties into my issue.
That guy's annoying as shit.
I'm going to pose this. I don't watch him, so I'm asking you, Taylor. Is it possible that Jim Norton is just as good as he always was, but he has to keep getting better for you to maintain the interest that you had in him when he was fresh?
No. Like it's a totally different Jim now. Like Jim has gone from all about comedy and hilarity, anything for a joke, which is what made him so fucking perfect on old O&A, to afraid. Because in that same time period, he went from purely stand-up comedian and radio guy to trying to act and get into things. And that natural career progression, like you can't say all the same shit on the radio. And so now, like when the Louis C.K. accusation...
Is he on Sirius?
Yeah, he's on Sirius still for now. But when the Louis C.K. accusations came out, like he's the kind of guy that would always back his friends up and do that. And Louis even gave him his main shots on his show. Louis, like he gave Jim a spot on the show, like a recurring character to help him out. Like he's done a lot to help Jim, and Jim just abandoned him. Like just didn't stick up for him. Didn't put his own 2 cents into the mix or anything. It's just become kind of obvious that he's doing things in pursuit of an acting career in lieu of being funny. Like, and I think part of that is because he knows he doesn't have the tools to be funny there anymore. Like all they do on Jim and Sam is talk to porn stars and UFC fighters, when what they used to do is have people like Bobby Kelly, Rich Voss, all those hilarious dudes in. Like I know Kyle listens to Jim and Sam way more often than me. I admittedly haven't listened in well over a year. Like I would tune in every once in a while to be like, what are you doing? But it was so insufferably bad and such a bad representation of what Jim used to be like when he had his whole cast of characters. Like it stinks. Like I want to remember Jimmy being like that really funny guy. And not Mr. like, so what do you think about this, Jim? That's a tough one. What are you going to talk about today? Maybe how I only eat egg whites and how I am going to, fucking talk about how I'm a sexual degenerate. It's like, we get it, Jim. You've been doing that same thing. That's not risky. It's not risky to talk about how you're a pervert. Like we all know. I wish he would branch out and go back to the way he was. But he hasn't. Like if you follow the Opie and Anthony as much as I have, like It's really obvious the change in the show because I've listened to all the old clips. I love it, like especially the Patrice ones. But
what killed Patrice? Was it heart disease? I assume.
Nope. He had a stroke that was brought on by diabetes. I think
it was the diabetes.
Okay.
Yeah, that was really sad.
Hey, on a related note, is Wings losing a lot of weight? I think he's shrinking, right? He's not sharing stuff. Does anyone know anything?
No, I don't know.
No,
anything.
I saw him tweet something like a few weeks ago, and he looked much better. Right?
I don't know. I I don't notice the difference, honestly. I mean,
I thought I noticed the difference in his face. I just wish he'd. I wish he'd really put it on display, man. I think it's working.
let me go back to the Sean Ranklin video where he doesn't wash his hands.
Yeah, he's got one from September
Yeah, I guess he looks somewhat smaller, like when he gets up here.
How long has it been?
Since what?
Since the surgery.
Oh, I'm not really sure. 5 months?
5 months.
I'm not good with time.
20th. There's a
Okay.
picture of him from the 20th. September
That's-
20th.
Just an FYI, the picture you scroll down, that's someone's butt. That's not him.
I
Oh, I didn't see the scroll down. I didn't see that. But, like he does look a little thinner, right?
Yeah,
To me, he does.
To me, he looks a great deal thinner in this photo. I don't know what to think of it. Pictures can be deceiving, mirrors can be deceiving. If this is an accurate representation, this looks quite thin, but of course, a long way to go still. Quite thinner, I should say. Oh,
I mean,
yeah, he's got
for
a
him,
better
that's quite
profile
thin.
picture here, too. Well, that's good. If that's accurate.
Well, hopefully it is.
Whatever.
he looks pretty good in that profile picture.
Yeah, he does.
If you're listening to this via audio, I'm showing it on the screen.
Yeah, you can go to Wing's Twitter, see what he looks like. I'm also pumped for this Halloween movie, this Halloween heritage movie where they're bringing back Jamie Lee Curtis and they're sort of rewriting the whole history, and it's written by what's his name, whose name I always butcher, fucking vice principal's actor. What's his name?
The vice principal actor.
There's two.
Yeah, Danny McBride.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's Danny McBride. Yeah, who's a funny guy and not really
Yeah,
known
he's
for
pretty
writing
funny.
horror, but he's a good actor too. He was in that Alien movie, and he was the only redeeming thing about that Alien movie. I really enjoyed his character in there.
He's the thinner one, Danny McBride, right?
No, no,
Okay.
he's the one with the beard who's the funny guy. Walter Goggins is the thinner guy.
Okay.
Yeah, who's also a good actor. He played like a transsexual in Sons of Anarchy.
I'm not familiar with that.
Sons of Anarchy.
I've seen that show, but I did.
Have you seen
It
all
was
of
such
it?
a back. I've seen all of it. It was such a background show for me for the most part, though. Like I didn't get that into it. Like I just
Yeah.
kind of let it play.
I have that too. It's a bit of a background show, but every so often the character would get killed in the most brutal way. Like early on, like, oh, this guy still has his tattoos. We have to burn him off or grind him off or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, that's rough. But that guy was like introduced this episode, so who cares about him? He's a red shirt
Yeah.
from Star
Yeah,
Trek.
and he lived. He lived through it.
And he was meant to. They just wanted to destroy the tattoo. But
Yeah.
they wreck some people that you took 5 years getting to know on that show in bad ways. Bad ways. And it's just,
It was rough. I would often feel a little nauseous watching that show, a little sick to my stomach, and feel bad for the characters. It was rough stuff that they'd get thrown into. It was
sometimes it's not
you're
even
thinking-
death. Go ahead, you finish your thought.
you would think, like after like Bobby or whatever his name is got dinged in the head with the like the beaten to death with pipes in prison or whatever, and they all had to watch or whatever. Whenever you get out, aren't you going on the straight and narrow? Like, aren't you selling that fucking Harley? Get yourself a Honda and an accounting job? Fuck all this. I'm going back. I'm going to community college. Yeah, I'm gonna be a fucking CPA. I'm done with this shit. No, no, I don't want to move some Mac 10s down to South Cali. No, a bag of meth? No, thank you. Get that. In fact, I'm calling my probation officer. Yep. It's mom. She's got meth with her right. She's right in front of me. Yes, hurry. Like after that, you got to get out. Get out.
You need to seek revenge on the people that hurt your boy.
Fuck that.
Dude,
Escape.
sometimes his death, like you said, Bobby got hit in the head with pipes. And by the way, like, you hear a hit in the head with pipes and it sounds horrific. But when you hear getting hit in the head with the pipes, the way that it rings afterwards, it sounds double horrific.
That was rough.
But there were other things that happened. Like this character lost an eye. You
He
know?
just lose an eye. They cut it out with a melon baller.
Yeah, they don't fix eyes, right? Like if they broke his shin, you'd be like, "Oh, that's bad." But we can fix shins. It'll be okay. Yeah, we don't put eyes back. That's get
That's
used
your
to
new
this.
look, buddy.
Yeah.
How do you look at an eye patch? Arr.
Now you're like that Binder and Binder attorney with his eye patch up there that are on so many billboards. I
Better
think that
Call
must be a
Saul. I'm
regional
looking forward to that coming back. I don't know when that comes out. And I think Game of Thrones will be on this summer. I said that already. I'm as much as you hate to see summer leave, it's nice to see winter shows kick on. Now, wait for me to in January be like, nothing good started. What's up? But yeah, this is television season. Let's see what they come up with.
Yeah, for sure. I don't have anything that's coming out right now that I'm into though. I don't really like anything. That's why I'm watching those reruns of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
I want to see Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Yeah, I won't spoil anything, but the last season ended with a cliffhanger, and I'd really like to know what's next. And that's a show that probably is on in the fall, right? It's like 22 episodes a season.
Yeah, probably so. I've never watched it, but I know of it. I know what's up over there, and I know it's super popular on Reddit.
Yeah, it's a popcorn show, right? Mind candy that doesn't require your full attention to stay on top of it. It's fun.
Yeah, I'm looking for Rick and Morty to come back, and
Is that due anytime remotely soon?
Well, they signed the deal for several more seasons, so yeah, it's got to be coming soon. And then South Park is coming fairly soon, I think. I'm looking forward to South Park. Other than that, I don't really have anything on the horizon that I'm looking forward to.
The first hit on Google says Rick and Morty May 10th. That's actually sooner than I thought, but not very soon.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I hope they do a good job. We'll see what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Call it a wrap?
Yeah.
PKN 215. You guys probably didn't know. Conor McGregor fight coming on. Looking forward to that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, honest.